Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another Stormworks video and welcome to episode 38 of our Classic Career Survival series. In today's episode, we are going to be getting our plane ready for its first flight. We've got a lot of things that we need to do today, such as a cargo door, some interior work, and upgrading our fuel tanks. I'd like to get it mostly ready today so that in the next episode we can take it on a test flight and make any small changes that will be necessary. But anyways guys, as always, I hope you'll enjoy. Let's get started. Okay, here we are in the workbench once again. Now, I'd like to start off with the cargo door at the rear first. So, I think we're going to have it just on this side here, but we need to get rid of the windows on that side to make it all match. And then just on the one side, we're going to fill in over here. So we'll just go like this and we'll fix up the painting afterwards. So the door's just going to be over here. Now we're going to get rid of a few more blocks, just like that should be fine, and get rid of all of these. Very good. Now we need to get rid of a few seats as well. Now I'm not sure if we're going to have a door separating the cargo area or not. We'll see how we go. We probably will, but for now, let's just make a little bit of room here. Very good. Now there are going to be no windows in the back on the door that's going to open up. So yeah, that's a thing. Let's get rid of a few of these and put some pivots in. So put one right there. Now that's minus going up. So we'll do the same thing on this side, opposite, and boom, very nice. That's perfect. I think that's what we want. Then we'll come across like that, and then we'll merge these two together. Very good. And then we're going to come down like this, and then we're going to need a couple of 1x2 wedges. So turn them around, add it right there, and go along like that. Very good. Now, to make this look just a little bit better, I think just in these flat pieces where we can, we're going to use some signs. So we'll grab some of these, a paintable sign. I think that's what we want. And we're going to come along like this and just draw some lines in it so it looks like the door is a separate piece. So that's, you can sort of tell where the door is sort of thing, if you know what I mean. So we'll chuck these all the way along. Just like that. Very good. Now, is this the middle block right here? It should be. We might put a little toggle button in the middle there. Actually, double-sided probably wouldn't hurt, so we can open it from the inside as well, and we'll put that on the outside. Very nice. I might quickly chuck a controller on for that as well while we're here. So we'll just chuck that right there, and I need to make this, when it's turned on, it needs to go into the minus. So make that a -1 instead of a +1, and we'll update that. That is very good. Now we'll just quickly connect this up to the bits and pieces. That should work, hopefully, and then that will go up to the button. Very nice. Now, I will sort out the painting for that afterwards. I won't worry about that right now. First of all, I think we will put like a doorway in here. I think that's probably the right thing to do. So maybe we'll open up a little area. I did that completely wrong. I just cooked that whole thing. Let's get a door out. What have we got to play with? Let's use a sliding door with a lock on it. That'll be all right. So we're going to turn this around that way. We have that in the middle like that. Is that correct? That should be right down the middle of the hallway. Yes, it is. Awesome. That is also one block too far forward, so we better change that. We'll go like this. Perfect. Very good. And we'll just fill in that area there. And there'll be just a little step that will go up to it there. So we'll just get a little step out and we'll just chuck that right here. Make it slightly easier to get into. Nice. And I suppose we just put a few blocks along like that. I suppose it doesn't really matter. It looks good from this side though. Just in here it's a bit messy, but it is just a storage room, so it doesn't really matter, does it? So now that that cargo area is mostly finished, let's work on the interior here. So I had someone in the comments tell me that some racking in here would be cool if we had like our specialist equipment in it. So we might try and do something like that. So maybe if we come along with a few blocks all the way to the front there, and maybe we could put just a few wedges in. I don't know if that's going to come out far enough. Let's see. And we have the storage stuff up there. Oh, what if we come out with a 1x2? I wonder if that would look any better. Oh yeah, I quite like that a little bit better actually. So what we'll do, we'll get rid of these all along here. We're going to waste a little bit of space behind here, but that is okay. And we'll put a little bit of specialist equipment up here. So a couple of fire extinguishers and some welders, and that wouldn't hurt, I don't think. Maybe just a couple of these. Have 4 extinguishers, a couple of welders, and maybe just an underwater one, just in case as well. So we'll chuck a couple of welders up here and an underwater welder. It's a bit weird, but you never know. Never know where we're going to end up. And maybe just a defib and a few bits of, or a few health packs rather, that'd be all right. So maybe we could put the defib on one side and a few health packs on the other. That's okay. You know what we could probably do? I don't think we're going to need 2 underwater welders. So maybe we'll put the defib there and we'll put a whole bunch of specialist equipment behind that. So some of these ones, some first aid, turn these around, go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have a bit of area over here. So we just got the one welder on this side. And we'll just put a little bit more of this over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be plenty. Actually, I quite like that. Now, just while we're on the interior, I might put a few lights inside, and then we're going to go outside and put some more lights out there as well. So we could probably put one right here in the middle. Boop, right there. And we're going to need another one somewhere whereabouts. So I'll just put that there. So maybe we'll have another one about here. Would that be okay? We should chuck it right there. And we should probably have one on the entranceway as well. So maybe if we chuck one right here, 3 lights, that is more than enough, I think. And then we'll just have a couple on the inside of here. We could go there and there, perhaps. That should be all right. These ones are going to be, yeah, actually, let's put them above the pilot's heads. That might be a bit better. We'll go there and there, and we'll make these like a yellow so they're not too bright. Something like that will be just fine. Or actually, I might go for like a dark color. That might be a little bit better. Yeah, might do that with all of them. Can we go fairly dark? Yeah, we can. That way it won't be too bright. Can I get that one? Very good. That's all right. Hopefully we'll see how bright they are when we actually have to use them. Now we're going to need a few lights on the outside as well. So let's get a couple of these out. So what we might do, we might have the red and green indicator lights, and then we're going to have some white flickering lights as well. So maybe if we just go up here and down there, and what we'll do, we'll have the red and the green on up here maybe, and then we'll just have some regular lights for the flicking ones, the blinking ones, sorry, on the bottom. That's probably a bit weird, isn't it? Anyway, now I believe it is red on this side, and that one can stay white, and then over here, can I make my way over, please? Very good, and this one will be a nice green color. Very good. So these ones are constantly on, and these ones are going to flicker. So I also believe there is a flickering light up on top of the tail up here, so maybe we'll put one right there. That'd be all right. It should be. So that will flicker, those will flicker, and then there's a little red one on the top up here and another one on the bottom, which I will put in there for now, but we are going to have to change a few things down here because I want to make the fuel tanks come in the bottom here, but we'll sort that out afterwards. And we're also going to need a few landing lights, so we might use some spotlights for that. That might be all right. So we might have a couple, I was going to say coming off under the engine here, but they might have to stick out under the wings here maybe. That might be all right. So maybe we could put one just here. Yeah, that's okay. We're going to have to fill in this area too, though. Put a little wedge back in there and another little one like that. So we have the landing lights there, and then I think we're going to have one just sitting here on the nose wheel as well. So maybe let's grab another light out. So if I could spell one of these ones, another spotlight. We'll chuck that right in here. Boom. Very good. So that will turn with the wheels as well. Okay, that's pretty good. I like that. And just while we're on the outside of the plane, let's get this fuel tank sorted. So what I wanted to do, I might open up under here a little bit more. I wanted to extend the fuel tank to be underneath the belly here. Okay, we've stuff to stop it right there. So we're going to put a couple little wedges in to block that off. Awesome. So we've got this area here. I think we can make a little bit more room coming up under here too, all the way till about, oh, how far up can we come? Okay, up to, yeah, just looks like where the wheel's going to go in. I might just leave one more gap though, just in case we have to make a little bit more room for that wheel, but it should be fine. Now, I don't think when you walk on wedges, it is really all that good. In my experience, it's been a little bit glitchy, so we might just replace that normal floor as just regular blocks, I think, and maybe underneath the seats, we can put upside down wedges in. Yeah, so if we come along like this, get rid of all of these. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is going to be just a little bit strange, isn't it? Is that a wedge? No, they're just full blocks. Okay, so we have a fair bit of room. We can extend the fuel tank, which is good. So we'll keep coming all the way to here, I think, is where we want it to go. That should be fine. And I think some of these can go as well. Yes, they can. Very good. We're going to have plenty of room. We really should move some of these seats while we're doing this so I can see what I'm doing, but that's okay. Now, let's get a few little wedges. So if we come across, or what if we go with some big 4 wedges like this all the way along? That should be all right. Hopefully, if we run into any problems with walking on them, then we'll fix it up afterwards. So let's just assume that this will be all right. So we'll come all the way up to there. Very good. So that is quite a bit more fuel we can carry. That's nice. I like that. And then in the middle of that, we'll just put a few little wedges as well. Like I said, if this causes any problems, then we're going to have to change it. But if that works, then that's really good because it'll maximize the amount of fuel we can take with us. Then what we'll do, we'll grab some more 1x4s, come along like this, I guess, except that's going to have to be that way there. So fuel can still travel all around that. Just, okay, that's good. We'll have to put another spawner in here too. Now, they've got to go back along there. And then we'll have to put maybe just a couple little ones along like that. As long as it doesn't block anything off, it should be fine. I think, what's that? They're just regular blocks. Why didn't I change these ones as well? Well, let's go back and fix all of that then. And that's a little bit better. That allows us to take even more fuel, which is really good. Now, I was tossing up on a few ideas how to do this, but I think what we're going to do, we're going to have some pumps sitting in here. So where's the fluid there? So they'll go this way. Can I just, no, I can't even put them down. Okay, let's go like that. We'll just put some pumps down like this. Good. Boom, boom. And I believe that is the outside. Yes, it is. All right. So we're going to need some pipes. They're going to come up like this, and they're going to pump fuel from the middle into each wing. I think this will work. It's a little bit strange, I know, but it should work. And then we're going to have a little port on the end of here. I don't know if I like this. If we chuck that on like this, that will pump it straight in and keep those wings filled up. Okay, this is very strange. Will that allow us to go past there? It should do, shouldn't it? I'm not sure if that's going to work or not, if that will pump it through. I wonder if it will fit through that gap. It should do. I don't see why it wouldn't. Anyway, what I was going to do, actually, let's grab a little block, put it there. I was going to put some little windows above those, so the little kind of half pieces, so then we don't have to have a full block sitting underneath. And that doesn't look too bad anyway. I just wonder if that'll work or not. It should do, because it can still get through, so we'll just assume it does. And then we'll put some little ports on the end of these pumps, so we'll go like this. And we'll have to have a little button to turn these on. So I suppose these will just be on all the time, sucking fuel out of there. And then what we'll have to do, we have to get a spawner. And we'll just go up on the side. No, we won't have to go in the middle, won't we? Chuck one right here. So that'll be the spawner, whoop, like that. And then we'll have to have a meter as well. So a liquid meter, just go right next to it. That'll be fine. So chuck that right here. Boom. Very good. So that should be a functioning tank now, I believe. So let's grab a couple of wedges, go along like this, and we'll fit some more along there. And then we'll just have to fill in the other bits with some smaller ones. And then under here, there's just a couple more bits and pieces we need to fill in. So all of that can be filled in. And I think that is everything. It should be all working just like that. By the way, I've changed all of these to be 0, and I've changed them all to jet fuel, all 3 of them. So yeah, that's the thing. And the last thing we need to do out here is put a filling up port on. So maybe we'll just go here and here. We'll have a charging port and a refuel port. So let's go with a fluid port, one of these ones, a fluid hose anchor, and we'll chuck that right here. Very good. And then we'll just have an electrical one as well, so we can charge up if we ever need to. One of these, we'll just chuck that right there. That should be fine. And we'll just put a couple little wedges above it, something like this. Yeah, that's not too bad. It's probably a bit weird, but anyway. And then we just got to make sure we put a little port on the other end of that, as well as a pipe or something, because that is going to leak straight into the cabin there. So let's get a pipe out. So we're just going to use a straight one for here. And then we have to come down and sort this out. So if we go a little angle one now, go like that, and then we can put a little port on there. Will that fit in that little area? It should do. Boom, perfect. And then the rest of that can just be some wedges, I suppose. We turn that up that way and just put a couple along like that. So that should be all sealed up and ready to go. Very nice. Okay, so now it's time to do a bit of interior work. So we need to sort this out. That is not right. And okay, we've got a few little things we need to fix up here. These need to be moved over one block, both of them. So they got to go there and there. I think that's the right spot. We go like this and that. Okay, now we need to work out how we're going to do all of this. So let's get a few display pieces out. So we're going to have a few different instrument panels scattered around everywhere. So maybe something in here, and then maybe a couple under here as well. And then we have a little bit on the roof already, but probably going to have another one. And we'll just chuck that around that way. That'll be fine. And I've unlocked keyboards as well. I think it only costs a couple of points. So that will be for our altitude hold. So we're going to have to work out where we're going to put that. Maybe, will that sit in here under the monitor? Should do. Yeah, it will. Awesome. So that will go right there. And then we'll probably have another display piece sitting in here. Chuck that right there. And then we'll fill in all of these with another few bits and pieces. I don't think we're going to need too much on this side, to be honest. Maybe we could just have one, actually. That'd be right. So we'll go like that. Very good. Now we're going to work out the layout for everything. So this will be the altitude hold, or the altitude hold level, and the output label. I have no idea what that means, but that will connect to something. So we'll have to work that out. So just before we get too carried away down there, let's head up here real quick and get these engine controls sorted. So we have the left and the right engine up here. So we have left compressor, and we've got a few other bits and pieces. I don't think we're going to need any more information about the engine other than the RPS and the temperature. So we'll do this all in capitals. So go the temp, and then we're going to go the RPS on number 3. Okay, dial, minimum value. Okay, we have to sort all that out. And then we're going to do the same on this side too. We're just going to have one little spot left over, but that's okay. So let me do that on both sides, and I'll be back in a sec. All right, so they're both done, and I just made the middle one there a blank because we don't really have any other use for it at the moment anyway. So number 1 on here will be electrics, and number 2 will be fuel pumps. That will turn on those 2 little pumps that we've just put on. So this will be a flip switch, so this one, head down to flip switch, and that will be on number 2, and electrics on number 1. I have no use for these 2 just at the moment, but I'm sure we'll find something for them. And we'll just leave that for now. Let's just move down to the front. We're going to have a little bit of fuel information. So maybe we'll use this one right here. Why not? So we're going to have our 3 fuel tanks. So fuel left, fuel right, and then the fuel middle. That should be fine. So let's go fuel right. Then we're going to have fuel left. And then under that will be fuel middle. If I could spell right, middle. There we go. Awesome. Dial on number 3, on number 2. And we'll just change this to display a maximum of 1,000. Should be fine. Doesn't really matter, I suppose. Just like that. And then number 4 is blank at the moment. So I might just put a blank in there so we don't get too confused. Very good. And then moving on, up in this gauge here, we might have our speed and altitude. I think they are both very important. So we'll go speed up here, and then we're going to have our altitude sitting next to that one. So this will be on a dial, display a maximum of 100. We'll probably be doing a lot more than that, but anyway. We'll put that one to 0, and that one's all finished. And this one will go 0, 2. We'll display 1,000 on there on number 2. Awesome. So then the 2 under that are currently blank. So I'm going to change both of these to none, and that one to none as well. And then underneath that, we're going to have all our lighting switches on this one here. But what we might do real quick, we're going to get a couple of toggle buttons out, and we're going to have our cockpit lights sitting on a little button out here. Take up this room in the cabin there. And then for the passengers, we're going to have a little light back here. So this will be cabin lights, and there'll be cockpit lights. So let's label both of these in capitals. This will be cabin lights, just like that. And then over here is cockpit lights. If I could spell cockpit lights, very good. So that will go straight up to these two. So that will go boom and boom. And then the cabin lights will go to this one, and that one there. That one's facing up. Can't touch that one just yet. We're also going to need some cargo bay lights, aren't we? How about we put those in while we're here? Lights, we'll just grab a couple of these. Nothing fancy. We'll just go one right here. And then those 3 away from the wall. What if we just go like about there? That should be fine. We don't even come in one more. I'll go like that. Awesome. Turn them around that way. And one up there. Awesome. And then we'll get another toggle button out, and we'll just chuck it over here next to the door, I suppose. Just go like that. Maybe change that one to a capital as well, make it match. Very good. So cargo lights, that will go to there and there. Very good. I might also take the brightness off those. Just go slightly darker on that one and on that one. Very good. Now let's move up to the front again, and we'll get the rest of these lights sorted. So up here, first of all, we're going to have nav lights. And underneath that, we're going to have our landing lights. So we've got landing lights. Very good. So that will also be a flip switch. And this one will be a flip switch as well. I think they look pretty cool. That will be on number 1. And this will be number 2. Awesome. I don't think there's anything else we need from that. So just so you all know, the nav lights are going to turn on all the lights on the outside except for those landing lights, but everything else is going to be turned on by the nav light switch. Obviously not the most realistic, but that's the way it's going to work. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, let's move on to the autopilot controls that we're going to have. It's not really going to be autopilot as such, but we're going to have a heading hold and then an altitude hold. So what we'll do, we'll have a heading hold, and then we're going to have an altitude hold. So they're going to be on separate buttons, and there's going to be 2 little controls I'm going to get off the workshop to use for them. So maybe we can just have a button on there, a toggle button, for the heading hold on number 1, and then we're going to do the same thing on here, toggle on number 2. Awesome. Now, as far as I know, number 3 and 4 are not going to get used at the moment. I'll go back into here. So we're going to get rid of those 2 for now. We can always add them back in later, but for now, that is how it's going to be. And the only other control that we need at the moment is going to be for our landing gear. So maybe in here, we could have that. So we've got our speed and thing in there. Maybe on number 4 over in this corner, we could have our landing gear button. So maybe we'll just go with a... Should we go for a flip switch? That should be all right. A flip switch, we'll go like that, and we'll go landing gear. Awesome. So that is on number 4. And the only other thing we need to do now is get the map and the GPS and everything sorted. So as far as maps go, what are we going to use? Let's just use the one we always use. Why not? It works well. I like it. And we'll just chuck that in the back here. So we'll chuck that right there. Actually, what if we put it up out of the way for a bit so we can connect it all together? That'd be a bit easier. Let's turn. Can I get it to go up this way, please? Yep, just like that. Awesome. And then we're going to go for some GPS parts. So we'll chuck one of these just sitting right here. Will be fine. And I think we're going to need a compass as well. So let's grab a compass sensor, one of these ones, and we'll chuck that right there. And then we've also got to sort out the altitude hold and everything. So altitude hold, what do we got here to play with? We might use this one here, altitude holds for a plane. It's pretty basic, but that one should work pretty well. So I'll just put that on the wall for now so it's out of the way. And then we're going to need a heading hold of some kind. Maybe this one here just controls it by the yaw. That should be all right. We'll just chuck that on the wall also, and we'll put them in a different position when we're all finished. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect everything up, all the logic and whatnot. I'm going to give everything a little bit of power, and then we're going to spawn it in and make sure everything works. And then we'll come back in and give everything a quick paint. So I'll see you all in just a moment. Alrighty guys, so everything is all connected and should be ready to give a bit of a test right now. So I'll just quickly show you there all our controllers. I put a little wall in the cargo room here to separate the controller room as well. We have our little lick of paint around the cargo door there. So you can see that little black line just kind of shows where it is. I've also added a variable brake lever in the front, just here next to our actual throttle. And there's a park brake on our seat as well. So that is all pretty good. I've also, I'll just show you this one. I had my fuel displays around the wrong way, so I've changed that to the left to the right there. They were around the other way before, and it just didn't really make sense. I've also added in up here a battery dial and a gyro button, along with the fuel and the electronic switches up there. And the other thing that I've done as well was added in a seat throttle. So the up and the down on here goes up to a little controller. It's floating around here somewhere, that one there. And then that controls our throttle. So that will be a lot easier to do our landings and whatnot. But other than that, I think we're pretty ready to give it a bit of a test flight. That will be next video though. But for now, we're going to spawn it in and make sure all our lights and everything works. So spawn in, $30,000. That did not cost much at all. Whoa, is it going to balance? Oh, just. That's all right. I've changed the button so it starts on default sitting out like this. That'll make it a lot easier for us to get in. So up we go. I've also fixed that little hole in the floor. Oh, I missed a couple of bits here. Okay, we have to fix those up. That's right, we can do that. So that still shuts. Very good. Now we have our interior lights in here. We'll have all our storage up on the racks. Walk through here into our cargo room and then through again into our controller room, which is a bit of a mess. But that's all right. So anyway, we shut that door. Let's make sure this one works. Yes, it does. Very good. So we have plenty of room for our cargo. And we'll just quickly shut that. Very good. Now let's go back up in here. Oh, and this light button works as well. As you can see, they are not very even. There's like 3 gap there and 1 there. Oh well, we saw that out another time if I remember. We'll shut that door. So let's go up into the front. So these cockpit lights do work. Very good. We could probably paint the other side of that door as well. That wouldn't hurt. Anyway, let's go inside here. So what do we got? Our landing gear. Landing lights. They all work. 1, 2, and 3. And does our little wheel turn? Yes, it does. Awesome. Look at that. Very good. So we'll turn all those off. Let's turn on our nav lights. So we should have some, blinking lights on the top there, on the wing, and on the other wing. Awesome, that all works. We have our red light on the top, red light on the bottom, and our colors on each wing. Very good. Now let's turn that one off. Let's test the next function, which will be the compressor on the roof. Let's see if the engine turns on. Yep, that one works, and that one works as well. Very good. So we've got our RPS and our temperature for both of them up there too. The engines will not start right now because we are currently empty of fuel. I have the spawners on 0 still just for the testing purposes. Now let's test the electronics. So the map turns on, everything displays as it should. Very good. Everything is backlit, which is very nice. Those are altitude hold buttons right there. We won't be able to test that until we get in the sky, unfortunately, but that's okay. But let's turn off the electronics and turn on the fuel pumps and listen if they work. And they do, very good. So that is transferring the fuel from the center tank to the left and the right to keep them nice and full, to keep our engines running. I do not know how much fuel any of our tanks hold at the moment, but that's okay. We'll find out when we go to take off. But everything seems to be working pretty well. I'm very happy with this thing. Let's test our control surfaces. Yes, that one works. That one works as well. We have our elevators on the back there and our rudder. Can we see that? There it is right there. So we have our right and our left. Very good, and that works with our little wheel on the front. So that maxes out at 45 degrees, which is very good. So the only other thing we can really test now is the landing gear, but we're going to fall on the ground. But anyway, here we go. Whoop. Yep, very good. Okay, that just broke the propeller on both sides. That's all right. We'll put those back up with that. Be strong enough to push us up. Oh, it is. Oh, nice. Everything clicks back into position as you just heard there. But anyway, guys, that might do us for today. Next episode, we're going to go for a bit of a fly around. We're going to stick fairly local for now, make sure everything works. We'll do a couple laps around, then we're going to come in for a landing, and then we're going to add or modify anything else that we need to make sure everything's perfect and ready to go. I was also thinking next episode we should add some heaters as well, so we'll definitely get onto that. But for now, guys, I'd like to say thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed today's episode, and I'll see you all in the next one.